Evening, everyone. This is my presentation on data collection. The collection method that I had was checklists. I was actually a little disappointed there wasn't a whole lot within the readings, but there was like very specific items I was able to capture for this presentation. Quite basically, it is a listing of what you're looking for in a classroom or a group or of a certain student. I have two examples here using either yes or no or observed versus not observed. I was able to pull the definition from the Mertler reading, which is a list of behaviors, characteristics, skills, or other entities that a researcher is interested in investigating. And then I kind of combined all the readings into my own definition here, which is a quick, simple observation technique used to collect data that highlights the important factors of what you are to observe without needing to indicate the extent or amount of something. So, of course, the processes and procedures that are unique to this technique, it is just a gridded checklist. That's all that is really needed for this observation technique. You could do either the yes or no, the observed versus not observed. It can be conducted within the classroom or group, like I said, and it does not disturb the natural flow. If you're observing, you're sitting at a desk or you're even your own desk or computer, and you're able to just listen into conversations to see if the items you're looking for are actually occurring. The only thing with this one that I feel is a little bit unique because it is such a quick and simple method is that you may need more information or to collect more data in a different way to really reach the research question that you're looking for. This is a quantitative research method, basically because, and this was highlighted most in the Mertler reading, was that it holds reliability and validity, which if you break it down, you are able to make this checklist very specific to your needs and what you're looking for, which is going to provide the best data for you. So you're not going to be left with data that really is unimportant. I think one of the examples was a reading teacher being able to divvy up their students into different groupings using test results. You're not going to give that to a history teacher and expect her to do the exact same thing when they are reading tests. So this is something that you're able to make specific to your needs. You're going to get the validity out of it that you need. You're not going to include things that you're not looking to observe. And it's also reliable because, again, if you're looking at things that you're needing for your research, you're going to be able to look and see if the questions you're asking or even the items that you are doing in your class, if they are occurring over and over again, if they are reliable or if they are unreliable. So strengths and weaknesses. The strengths are that this is very quick. You can come up with this, not that you'd want to, but you could come up with this before your class enters the door. Highlight, a few things that you're looking for, maybe 3, 4 things, and then you can walk around the classroom and check, 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 yes, no, whether they were observed or not, which leads to observed versus not observed. If you're looking to see if students are following the directions that are on the board, you can very quickly see, okay, right there's a student that looked up at the board to follow directions, or here's one student that literally never looked at the board. Or if you look at it as a whole class, how many students did look up at the board. If you're seeing many, then yeah, you're observing that they're looking to the board for the instructions you put up there. If you're seeing students wandering the room and asking each other and coming to you 300 times saying, what am I supposed to do next? What am I supposed to do next? That obviously was not something you observed at the time. Like I said earlier, it provides validity and reliability to the research or the researcher, and it is short to the point. You're looking for the if rather than to the extent. So this is kind of like the difference between the survey. When you're taking a survey, you're looking at very detailed items, while this is, if they're doing it or not, quite bluntly. The weaknesses, as I said, it's not very detailed as the surveys and rating scales. So the rating scales, you could say to what extent the students are listening, or to the extent that students are calling out, to the extent that students are problem solving. You could put anywhere between a 0 and a 5. You could use the Likert scale or survey where the students assess themselves. This is, again, very quickly, yes or no. Do you see it? Do you not see it? Move on. Because of this, you may need to do more research in order to get the answer for your research question or your research overall. You may find that this type of method may not work for you. You may go in thinking, oh yes, I'm definitely going to be able to tell if students are problem solving or not. I'll make a quick checklist. And then you go to see if that works and you're not getting the answers that you need, which, as I said, is a weakness that it's short and to the point, but is a strength, but it's also a weakness because you're not able to get more detailed, which will lead me into my concerns. It's very cut and dry. There's no room for explanation, which I'm a person that I think I over-explain things too often. When you look at these studies or your findings, if you share them with someone else, they may do more information from you when that's all you have. And unless you're remembering every single checklist that you did, and I'm only thinking of myself since I see 15 classes in a 3-day cycle, you're going to have to know the specifics of the exact checklist you did at what time. So there's no explanation to it. It's just yes or no, which this can be misleading. You could have all these checklists that say that, oh great, students are doing what they're supposed to, they're problem solving like I expected them to. But then you go and you take the checklists away and you just get down to it and you're like, wait, back up. All these checklists said I was observing it, but maybe I didn't go far enough, or maybe I was observing them starting to problem solve but not going all the way. Not always accurate for the day-to-day. Like I said, students can be doing one thing one day and then the next day they could totally not be. So if you're doing a checklist on a good day, everything looks great. The next day, not so much. Items can easily be missed because you don't want a long checklist. You only need to highlight the most important aspects of the observation, which, again, over-explanation, but if you're only highlighting 5 things, those are the only 5 things you're observing. If there's something else you catch during that observation time, as much as you could make a note of it, it's not part of that observation technique, the checklist. You're sticking to what you decided was most important beforehand. What kind of questions would this technique best answer? Obviously, what did and didn't occur in the class, how many students did follow through with something. You can count up the check marks of observed. Were all class expectations followed? You could use the checklist to make a listing of what you expected from the class. Did they follow it? Were the objectives met? Were directions followed? And that is my summary of checklists. Looking forward to the comments. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.